Hello, everyone. I'm Katrina. This is Sow and Tare. This is the live chat. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you. And we are talking all things homestead related today and talking about tools. But we're going to start off by silencing my phone because there's potential spam. Um, we're going to start off by talking about what happened this weekend. Let me silence my phone. So we had tons and tons of flooding here. I'm fine. House is fine. Water likely got underneath the house. For me and for my house, it wasn't. The last storm was where the when I first had to figure out all the trenches and stuff. I believe there was more water that got underneath the house than this time because it was prepared. I did have to redig things. That's gonna be Thursday's video, all about that. You guys saw some of it today. My light's facing the wrong way. You guys saw some of it today in the weekend review. Let me fix my light real quick. And you guys will see more later. There was significant flooding. I'm on a hill, and I had flooding behind my house. It was coming off this hill here. Actually, let me show you guys. Hopefully I'm able to do this. Okay. So right behind my house, you guys, what you guys will see is there's the fence right here. At the base of that is a retaining wall, which is two blocks tall, and behind that is this engineered hill, and there's a flat top, and then it goes up. And the water was coming, so the road that goes to the cabin is like right there. It goes, actually, it goes this way. It goes this way and then up. And it was coming off of that road, not only out of the mountain, but also off of that road, and then off of over here. There was some springs that were coming up out of the ground, and it was going all down the hill, puddling on top of this, going down all the way, and like water falling down this hill and coming out. So I'll show you guys here. What you're going to see is a ditch. Hopefully I'll be able to tilt the camera that far with everything plugged in. And what is flowing right now, you guys see that? So what's flowing right now in that ditch is coming out of the actual hill. So it's no longer surface flow. It is flowing out of the hill. And you can see there's quite a bit of flow still. That was much, much more. That black container there has a pump under it. So I did end up using, if you guys remember last big storm, I did test out the Ryobi pump with the battery operated one. And I now have a plug-in one and was able to plug that in. And it actually operates at the same pace as like just above low for the battery operated one. So the battery operated one, if you want something to happen fast, get that one. And then if you want something consistent and slow, then you could get this transfer pump. Same thing, Ryobi, but it's the battery, or it's a hybrid or a plug-in. But I think it's discontinued. So it was nice to have it while I had it and all that. But not sure you can get it anymore. But having a transfer pump is going to be very helpful. That is one of the tools I want to talk about today. But I did also want you guys to know that I am okay with the flooding. The whole hayfield is flooded. It's receded a little bit now, but there's definitely a new creek in the hayfield. I went down today and recorded where the seasonal creek goes through. Found out from a neighbor that the neighbor that used to live next door, she moved in 73, and she said it used to be a yearly, like it was just there all the time. It used to be a permanent creek, and at some point it dried up. So it was roaring. I have like a whole alluvial fan down in the pasture right now. with all the silt and rock that it brought down. In fact, I even saw I think it's like a little, I don't know if it's a teapot or a milk thing. I have a picture of it. Once the water recedes, it's not that big anymore, but once the water recedes, I'm going to pick it up, clean it up, see what I can see. It's raining with the sun out right now. You can't see it in the back. In the front, you can see it. And yeah, so there's lots of water happening. All the animals are fun. All the animals are fine, and it's super, super good. Nobody's in trouble or anything. On the power line road, that area has been impacted more. I don't know how much of a drop it is, but it's at least 5 feet before this storm, so it probably got bigger. And there's lots of water. So my little town of Glendale, 800 and something people, and then surrounding area got hit super hard. Interstate 5, all 4 lanes at some point north of here were closed because the water was going across Interstate 5. And then there's landslides and rock slides and all of that kind of all over, and people are cleaning up. The city is preparing something for FEMA to get FEMA funding for people. They called me to see if I had any damage. They're calling everybody. And yeah, so major storm. We got, so as you guys may or may not know, I do the Kokoros precipitation reporting, and Kokoros is awesome. I want to talk about it just because it's timely. I know we're getting to the tools soon, but I do. Kokoros stands for Community Collaborative Rain, Hail, and Snow Network, and I actually want to put that on the screen here. Kokoros. And let's not do my page. Let's do the home page. Because I want to encourage you guys to sign up for this. And here is, I'll put a link here. We'll get to your comments and hellos and highs. Hi, everybody. But I want to encourage you guys to sign up for this, and I'll show you what it looks like. Share screen. And there we go. Okay, so here's what it looks like, and here is all those little circles are stations. All those little circles are stations all over the United States. You can see where it rained a lot. Southern Oregon, Northern California, over on the coast on the east side. And all the clear circles are 0. So you can see day to day what goes on the map and all that. Mine isn't actually on there today because it probably isn't because I didn't enter it before 9 in the morning. I was busy. I saw that and then I started working and I'm like, oops, I didn't enter it. So I entered it actually during a meeting while at work. But so these, let's just go in my area, and it's loading very slowly. Okay, let's cancel that. So I encourage you to sign up. You can, so if I want to put, tell me if this changes. It's not going to. What's going on with the internet? Okay, so here's what, if I want to do an input for this is my station. And if I want to do input, I do the date, the time. 7 a.m. is typical. That's what they want you to do it at. Mine is usually closer to 8. Observation notes. You can, and this is for rain. You can do snow. You can do snowpack and all that. You can get as detailed as you want. Is there a flooding value? We were extreme, never seen this bad before. Because we got 3.56 inches. That was 24-hour as on Saturday morning, on Sunday morning. And the 24-hour for this morning was 2.02. So we got over 5.5 inches in 2 days. Yeah, so I'll stop sharing that. Get back to you guys. And I just wanted to share that with you guys, that my community, a lot of people are struggling right now. And the flooding is going down, but there are people who lost a lot. I saw one story on Facebook. They said they were responding to something. I don't know who they was, but there were some people that, their house is up 3 feet off the ground and the waters were getting to their front steps. So, and an elderly couple. So I think they got them out. Anyway, so good thoughts to this community. All right, so now that we started that, I am going to go up to the top, say hello and hi to everybody, and we will continue. Hope everybody's having a good day. PJ's here. Hi, PJ. Happy St. Patrick's Day, she says. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Also, happy birthday to my chickies, my chickens. They were hatched out 4 years ago. All right. Dawn says, Happy St. Patrick's Day. Hi, Dawn. Welcome. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone. And Verna's here. Hello, Verna. Verna is Vase Place with Little Wrench in blue. And she is moderator. She takes care of bad guys. If you grow things in an apartment or you want to, she has a good channel to teach you how to do that. All right. Why do they have St. Patrick's Day in the United States but not in Ireland? I don't know. I think they do. My boss said they celebrate on a Monday. I don't know, which I guess was yesterday there. That is the extent of my knowledge of that right now. Dawn says, I would assume because they are Irish and here is for the Americans have Irish in them. Maybe. I'm about a quarter Irish, so there you go. I think it's a religious holiday, honestly. I think it is. St. Patrick was born in Britain, was a slave in Ireland. Okay. Buster says, hey to all. Hey, Buster, welcome. Looks like it finally quit raining. No, it's still raining. You can see the rain better out that window than this window. It's very light right now. Yeah, but I think we're supposed to get more rain, so the soils are already saturated. There's already, as far as I know, there's no landslides on my property. I only have erosion at that one place. And then, this seasonal creek is scoured. I caught it and redirected part of the flow from the road, my roadway, into the seasonal creek where it used to go before it really scoured the rest of the road. So, and then who knows what it looks like at the upper road, which actually you guys haven't seen that video yet, huh? I should edit that at some point. And there's probably more scouring of that. So, yeah. All right. Buster likes how fast I shovel snow. You know what, Buster? You can too. You just got to put it on 80 times. That's how much I sped that up. 80 times. Human snowplow. Though, it was only 2 inches. And so really I did, shovel it off a lot. Not a lot. I did shovel it off some, but most of it was just pushing it down and then coming. It doesn't make sense to push it up, right? It's a slope, push it down. All right. It was good. It went away. I didn't really have to, but the forester was coming that day, and I'm like, oh, I guess I should shovel in case more happens. Yeah. Joy's here. Hello, all from Western Oregon. Bred my New Zealand doe 2 days ago. When should I try again to see if she's pregnant? It's supposed to be 12 to 24 hours after. So you might be past that point. I don't know if you try right now, if that what that will say, but it's tends to be 12 to 24 hours after her first breeding. I have no idea how she'll react at this point. Try it. So, Joy, did you get rain? I think Southern Oregon got it more than you did, if I remember where you are. Yeah, we got tons. But welcome. Homestead Matters is here. Hello, hello. Happy St. Patty's Day to all. Luck of the Irish. We had 3 seconds of sunshine today. Yeah, we might have had maybe a minute. That's not true. We had more than that, but I was inside a lot of the day working. All right. Yeah, so like Verna says, you could check the next day. I'm not, and I don't know how it works, how they react if it's more than that long. I have heard of additional pregnancies happening later, and then when they deliver everyone. So if they're early, they're early. And I don't know how often that happens. I just know I've heard of it. And Joy says 3 fall-offs for the buck. Yep, that's good. But it's good. It is good to check her, and I would have done that 12 to 24 hours. 12 hours is usually what I do. Their bodies know, but yeah. Yeah, check her night. Okay. Let us know. Let us know how it turned out. All right. Jacob's here. Hello, all. Hello, Jacob. Welcome, welcome. Verna's crazy as ever. If she doesn't respond that, you know something's wrong. Oh, allergies. Nope, I don't have allergies. This is just me. I'm probably tired because I was up bloody last night. PJ's back. Hey, all. Hey, PJ. Steve's here. Maybe a genie will come out of that teapot. It's already open. So the genie's already out. I don't think it's a teapot. It reminds me of like those old milk things. It's like this big. I don't know. But Steve reminds me that my freeze dryer is fixed. Yay! My recommendation is if you are not getting response from customer service with Harvest Right, bug the heck out of them, call back. If they keep giving you the same person, maybe don't give them the number until they give you another person, and then say, oh, by the way, here's my what do they call it? Not order number, whatever it is. And just bug the heck out of them until you get to a tech person. The tech person was wonderful. It's the customer service that I was having problems with. So there is my assessment. It is working, and I am going to be making rabbit protein bites. And I will be figuring out what kind of seasonings I want to do on them. I have some ideas, but if you guys have any ideas, let me know. All right. Dawn's here. I have a second round of this past weekend's storm coming Wednesday. They say nice warm air, high winds, hail, tornadoes, then snow again. Oh my gosh. Well, good luck and stay safe. There was a funnel cloud. I don't think it was a full tornado. Was it? There was a funnel cloud with this storm up in Washington somewhere. I don't remember where. Yeah, we didn't get too much wind. We got some briefly, but it wasn't like the whole time. Yeah. Verna says typical March. This is atypical here. Dawn says, I don't think I've ever had 80 degrees during the day and snow that night. Well, weather's a changing. Pretty cool to see the snow after sweating all week clearing the gardens. Oh my gosh, did you get it done? Did you get it done? Who has planted their garden? I have not yet, but I did buy starts last week. I don't know when. at some point I bought very few starts. Yeah. My time is will be a little bit better spent now that the rabbit tractor is out, and I have some of the garden stuff, and I got some raised bed mix, and I will be mixing raised bed mix, some native soil, and rabbit poo to make my raised beds. And they're not going to be raised beds because I don't have time for that. They are going to be raised bumps. And that's just going to be what it is. And I've done that before. I've made 2 or 3 beds that way at my old place, and it works fine. It just means that there's a slope on the side and it's not as efficient on the sides, but it'll be fine. I can put borders later. All right. Amy. Hi, Amy. I made it. Hello, everyone. Hello, Amy. Oh, Verna says, hey, Amy, bunny put away. Okay, Joyce says, rain, hail, sun, typical March. Okay, so you're getting your regular stuff. We are getting slammed down here, or did. Oh, Amy says, sort of got him into a ground pen. Okay. Okay, did Bunny get out? Oh, yeah, Verna, I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I was up doing lots of stuff. In fact, this morning's video didn't go out on time because I was working on it this morning. I just decided, you know what? I'm not staying up any later. I'm going to get up early. And I did. Yeah. Oh, no, Verna, what's wrong with yours? She says, congratulations. Now I have to fix mine. What's wrong with yours? Dawn says, yay. Event number. No. Your, like, you have confirmation number? No. Your, like, hey, I need help. Here's the number for my issue. Anyway. No, I'm talking about like, hey, I've had an issue. You gave me a number. Here's my number so you can look up my issue. That's what I was talking about. All right. Amy says sage, marjoram, basil, onion powder, and paprika. I'm guessing that is your recommendation for my rabbit protein bites. That sounds good, except for the onion powder. I could substitute for garlic, though. I don't think I have any dried sage, but I could like chop it up real small and mix it in and freeze dry it. It would be dry then. Probably not basil right now. Yeah. Dawn is asking, did you ever pressure can quail whole with bones? Yes. So the best way to do that is to cut off the legs because they just fit better. And from eating out of the jar, for me, it worked better to have if the legs are in one and the rest of it's in another, because then you know what bones to expect. And I have a video. Where is the video? It is well, I guess I didn't have my stuff open. Canned quail. Canned has 2 N's in it. I think it was the rabbit and quail one. Rabbit. No. Canning rabbit. I think it's pressure canning quail and rabbit. There we go. So I will drop this in here. Pressure canning quail and rabbit. And to me, it makes sense to debone a rabbit just for ease of use after the fact, but it doesn't really make sense to debone a quail unless you're going to take out just the breasts and put that in one, and then because you can debone that, relatively okay, and then maybe do the legs in another, or do like what Verna usually does, I think, which is save them for chicken wings. Yeah. Okay. So yes, I have done that. And there's different times. Is there different times? There's different instructions. Anyway, for canning, if you raw pack, then you are canning without cooking it. You're just shoving the meat in there, and you can do this either with meat off the bone or meat on the bone. It may have different processing times, but that does not have liquid added to it. If you are doing hot packing, that means your meat is either par cooked, which means partially cooked, or fully cooked, and you add a liquid to that. And that could be water, but I recommend using broth. It's going to be a better product, but you could use water, and it's going to make broth, really. So yeah. Yeah. PJ says, our snow and ice is finally gone. Now onto mud season. Dawn says, I did plant a gooseberry bush last week. It came in leafing out. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I need to plant my stuff soon as in temporary location. That's what I have to do. All right. Dawn says, I have Egyptian walking onions coming Wednesday, and I'll have to temporarily plant them in a couple pots. Yeah, that's fine. They'll walk later. TJ says, some of the trees and bushes I got from Keith at QuailCon are leafing out. Awesome. Inside, can't wait to plant them when I get the new house. I have 2 possibilities narrowed down. Good luck. Good luck. Yeah, I couldn't bring stuff from QuailCon because I was going to California. They don't let you bring stuff into California. But he said he could send me stuff, so that's good. Vacuum leak with yours. I was just reading about that. So good luck. Hopefully it's just the valve. Have you talked to anybody yet? Or you haven't done that yet? I encourage you to not be like me. I encourage you to go for it and call them every day until you get your answer. Dawn started 12 flowers, herbs, and have 25 to go later because they grow faster. Awesome. You're welcome, Dawn. Amy says, make sure you have about 4 to 5 feet in diameter for your gooseberry. I have one, it just jumped, that has blended with its figgy neighbor. The fig will outgrow it eventually. Oh, gooseberry fig preserves. That sounds good. Yeah, Dawn, raw packing is faster. The only thing with that is you're going to get a fat cap, which is either good or bad, depending on what you think. And you're going to get the gelatin actually in the jar. It should gel, especially with rabbit. Seems to have more gelling capability. It has bigger bones, but you should get some of that gelling capacity from that, which is it's good stuff. All right. Jacob says, in currently making more pickled eggs using your pressure pot method to cook and peel them. It works amazing. It does, doesn't it? It absolutely does. I'm glad that is helping you. Jennifer's here. Welcome, Jennifer. Hello, Katrina, everyone else. I planted peas today. Awesome. I was just talking about peas with my neighbor. She's, I think, 80 years old. And she says, oh, there's a puddle where I planted my peas. Because remember, we flooded. So she doesn't know if they're going to be okay or not. But it's like, I didn't plant peas because the rain kept on coming. And for at least 2 years in a row, that happened to me where I planted peas and they just rotted in the ground. So maybe it's time now. I don't know. Brenda says, not yet. We'll handle it tomorrow. Have a video following me first. Yeah, so that's how Harvest Right does it, is they listen to what you're doing, that you give them the log files, and then they basically tell you what videos to watch and what to do. The videos that they had for mine did not match at all, and I was a little frustrated because they are expensive machines, and it's not hard to make a video for the same thing, same issue for every single machine. They don't have that many, different machines. So I was a little annoyed. I figured it out, but if they're different, they need to redo the videos each for every one they bring out. All right. Everybody's saying hi. Okay, wide open area for that plant. Got it. I don't think the picky neighbor will cross with a gooseberry. It might taste good though, if it did. Big gooseberries or little baby figs. Yep. You don't know where your USB thingies are. I had to search, and I found one. They want you to have like a low capacity one too. So, okay, here's a tip for anybody, specifically for that. Here's a tip for anybody who's dealing with a Harvest Right freeze dryer technical issue. They want you to have a low capacity, less than 16 gigabyte flash drive, and because apparently it talks with it better. And it has, if you're loading something onto it, it has to be the only thing on the flash drive. So I had to like take off things that were on the flash drive. But and in their instructions, they don't say that at the beginning. They're like, oh yeah, and by the way, it has to be the only thing. I'm like, you should have said that at the beginning. Anyway. Their videos were helpful, but they could be done better. Dawn says, I was going to plant peas, but they were a ripoff, so I pitched them. Dwarf, you would think short plant. Nope, they're dwarf pods. Okay. Yeah. I will be planting peas. I think I can still do it. But I need to do the garden beds first, and that's going to be probably this weekend in garden beds. I was going to do it this past weekend, but it was just so rainy. I need to process rabbits. That's what I need to do. They are perfectly happy and fine, but they are getting older. I have 9 to process, and then 5 to process in, is it next week already? Anyway, I need to set up my processing place, and it keeps raining. Okay. So let's talk tools a little bit. So one would be tools for homesteading in the kitchen, and that would be your canning tools, your, if you want to freeze drying, food preservation tools. And I recommend having, if you don't have a water bath canner, you don't need one. If you have a stock pot, you have a water bath canner. I recommend you put something in the bottom, like a washcloth, so the jars don't directly touch the bottom, because otherwise they can vibrate and crack. I canned forever in a stock pot until that happened one time and I lost my pickles. And then there is, so you don't even need a water bath canner. They're not too terribly expensive. So if you're going to be doing it all the time, it does have a higher capacity. So I would get the one if you need one for higher capacity. But I just got one just a few years ago. Like I was canning and doing water bath in a stock pot before then, and it works just fine. Pressure canners are super, super good if you want to pressure can things like soups and stews and meat and vegetables, things that are low acid. Highly recommend pressure canner. I like the All-American because it is much more robust physically than other ones out there, but the other ones out there work. I do not recommend the electric pressure canners. Other people do that. That's fine. You can follow what they say to do that with. I would just caution you to think about electric things and how often they need to update, and if you want to risk your food safety on a computer. So that's up to you. Out of the conversation. Okay, so that, and then if you have a vacuum sealer, that is really good for dry goods and for even freeze drying, putting it into a jar. And you can do that with either, and I actually want to get one of those battery operated things that you put on the lids. They have them that fit the regular mouth and the wide mouth. But what I have is a brake bleeder, yes, for cars, and they make these little caps it's actually for like Food Saver, the brand of vacuum sealer, and you're supposed to put the vacuum tube there and it vacuums it out, but it is a manual way to do it. And I think having a manual way to do that is a really good idea in case there's power outages or go camping or whatever. And a brake bleeder is the answer for that. But also having those battery operated ones, I think will be, I think I need them. I need to get some. Okay, so then also something I did not have for years and finally broke down and got. They are not expensive, guys, but you know, I didn't have very much disposable income through much of my time. And that is canning tongs. So the canning tongs are the ones that you pick up the jars with in and out of the hot water. And I was using regular tongs and it worked, but it was not easy. So make your life easy. Just get one of those kits that have the tongs and the actual funnel. It will make your life easier. So that's as far as kitchen stuff. I'm going to read some comments and then we're going to go on to water stuff. So think about water tools or other kitchen tools that you think are essential for homesteading. Oh, Verna, you're going to help me, huh? Yeah. Dawn said, last on my list is to get 2 10 to 12 foot tall mulberry trees cut down to 5 foot so they will be manageable. Yeah, mulberries are things that you can pollard. It's called pollarding, like a pillar. And that you can do that because they grow on first year wood. And I've seen that it's about, pretty low, and then they make like almost like a weeping willow shape. It's pretty cool. Dawn says, I really want one of those old time mason jar lid openers. Okay, so lid openers. So that's another thing to think about. And I know what you're talking about, and I think they're super cool. And I also don't have one. If you have Harvest Guard, so Harvest Guard and Tatler are two types of reusable lids for your canning. And they, as far as I know, are exactly the same. I've never used Tatler. I'm assuming that they have the same thing. And that is, the lid is forever. It's a food safe. I don't know what it is, a plastic or something, but it's food safe. And then the gasket is something that will last many, many times. And I have not had one go bad yet. So that is good. They generally hold their seals. I have had some fail, but not many. So I'm still good with them. And they're much more on the self-sufficient side of things than using a new lid every time. Now, you are supposed to use a new lid every time. So you can stock up on those, or you can get reusable ones. Reusable ones, they cost more, but you're not going to have to buy a whole bunch after you initially buy them. You guys see Ringo? Ringo, what are you doing? You came to say hi? I wonder if you can hear me. Hey, buddy. He finds me wherever I am, even inside. Oh, and for those that are just joining, that's my little trench there, and that's water coming out of the hillside. It's no longer surface flowing, that's coming out of the hillside. Hi, Ringo. Poor boy. He's like, I hear you. Who are you talking to? Oh, okay. So those are options for lids. I have in the past reused the metal lids. There's not really anything wrong with it, except that the companies don't guarantee, they're not going to guarantee anyway, but they basically say that 18 months is how long the seal should last. Honestly, that seal will last forever if kept in the right conditions. And if the seal is good and it's a real seal, you're storing these jars without the bands so that you don't have a false seal. If the seal is good, the food inside of it is going to be good. Now, people say, "Oh, but it's so many years old." It's still going to be good. Is it going to be as nutritious? No. Food is going to lose its nutrition. And I think that's probably why they say 18 months for those, because that's kind of when things start to really start to degrade. And that's going to be degrading with temperature and light. And it shouldn't have any oxygen in it because of the canning process. But that is what goes on. Now, alternatively, in a freeze-dried package, if it's has no light, so if it's in mylar or complete darkness some other way, it should last forever with an oxygen absorber in there. So that's canning. Sorry, I jumped. What was I going to say? I don't remember what I was going to say. Oh, I was going to read. That's what I was reading. Okay. The old-fashioned mason jar openers were fingernails or a knife, right? Right, Steve? No, there's some cool ones that are like they're like that, and you just put under all of it and go like that, because those will open them so the lid stays flat. So you can reuse the used metal lids for dry goods. It'll still have some sealing effect, but those do, they don't last as long as new lids. Yeah, but you can use them for dry goods. Okay, Dawn says, I don't think I've grown anything that needs to be water bath, but I have a porcelain stock pot and lid, and they used to use for water bath canning. Okay, cool. Verna says they work wonders. The battery operated ones, the brake bleeder is good too. Yep. But like brake bleeder, you're going to get a good 4-hour workout. Dawn says I have a food saver vacuum sealer and brake bleeder. I plan on dehydrating a lot this year once again. Awesome. Well, there he goes. Guess he figured I wasn't talking to him. Dawn says I have. Oh, you already said it. Somehow when I got my canner, I got a kit that has the tong and funnel and stuff, like Lidmatic. Yeah. Yep, that's exactly it. Yeah. Jacob says Amazon has the lid openers. Yeah. Do they have old-fashioned kind? Because those are really hard to find. They have all sorts of lid openers, and I have one of them. Oh, that's what I'm going to say. Is the Harvest Right sells their own, not Harvest Right, Harvest Guard sells their own lid opener. And actually, if you are going to get the Harvest Guard lids, I would get their opener because it's more specific to the size of. So the size of their lid is thicker, and it just works better. I'll just say that. Peeping Tom, yeah, he's sitting up there still, right there. Hi, Ringo. Shouldn't say that too loud. He'll come back down. A peeping Ringo. Okay, Dawn says, I forgot I have Tatler lids coming this week too. I'll be nervous learning them. Dawn, I have some videos in my intro to canning playlist. Intro to canning. I have a video. Here we go. Canning lids, metal versus reusable. And I will put this here. So I have a whole playlist. So you guys are welcome to watch the playlist, but canning lids, I do a comparison. and that is with Harvest Guard, but Harvest Guard and Tatler, I believe, are the same. Follow their recommendations, all that, but that shows you kind of the difference there. Okay. Dawn says, I reuse the metal lids on vacuum sealed jars. Exactly. Dawn says Ringo's collar cone is gone. Yeah, he has not had that on. He only had it on for how long did he have that on? 10 days, I think, or 7 days. I don't know, something like that. He's doing well. He did get in another fight since that point. You guys already heard about it, I think. He got a small cut on his paw and he was fine. And then last week he went to the vet to get his second rounds of shots. So he shouldn't have to go in until next year. Apparently, the rabies shot is an annual shot now. Annual up to a certain number of years, and then okay, I don't know. When I got my rabies shot for working with bats, it was a 5-week. It was a 5-week program with 3 shots. So I was like, oh, here's this other one. He's like, no, it's just one. Oh, okay. All right. Jennifer says, what is the name of the lids, please? Okay, they're Harvest Guard, or Tatler, and I will put that in the chat. Those are the 2 that I know about that are trusted names for reusable lids. Why did I go with Harvest Guard? Because they were cheaper. Harvest Guard has fantastic customer service. I will say that they have fantastic customer service. And I know nothing about Tatler's customer service, but they both, I think, are pretty similar. Yes, light is a big factor. Absolutely. Steve says, I think the food lost nutrition when you had it in the canner itself. Yes, so that's why freeze drying is so good, because it doesn't lose very much nutrition at all. Whenever you cook food, whenever you heat it, it's going to lose nutrition. When you heat it in a water bath, it's going to lose nutrition. When you heat it in a pressure canner, it's going to lose even more nutrition because it's cooking for longer. So anytime you cook food, it loses nutrition. Now, there are certain foods that have to be cooked in order for us to get to the nutrition that's in it. But in any case, freeze drying is going to be the best answer for a lot of those things. Sometimes it's good to have, like, I wouldn't necessarily rely on freeze-dried jam. You want jams and jellies to just be in a jar, maybe you don't. Maybe you find a way that will rehydrate well and be okay. But that's, there's certain things that are good with that. Syrup is another one that, coming out of a jar would be good. Got to boil it down anyway. Yeah, that's true. Versus freeze dry all the way. We were talking tools. We were. Ringo is gone off, possibly hunting or checking out bunnies, or who knows what else. All right. So, okay. That one for the mason jar lid openers are on Amazon. Okay, for 9 to 13. Okay. 2 live streams. What? I don't know what's going on. Oh, no, you have to get them from their website, Dawn. Harvest Guard. I don't think they're on Amazon. They have their own thing. Dawn says how to get Tatler brand, and my friend said there's no difference, that she couldn't tell. Yeah. Thank you, Steve, for putting the Harvest Guard on there. I love that it's just canninglids.com. I love that that wasn't already taken. Yeah. Yeah, so Dawn says you still have to cook the quail or rabbit, freeze dry it, toss it in the canner. It cooks while it's canning. It should be the same. You don't have to cook it, but you should cook it. But the canner takes 75 minutes usually, um, or 90 minutes, depending on what you're doing. And that's going to, if you cook it, before you put it in the freeze dryer, you're not going to cook it for that long. So there is less nutrition lost. Okay. Steve says they are on Amazon as well, and Walmart carries Tatler. I have seen them at there. Okay. Oh, Ringo's Cone was 2 live streams. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Cool. Yeah, so we're talking tools. So I want to talk about tools for water, and there's 2 categories I want to talk about. One is emergency water. That's what this is about. And that was transfer pumps. Transfer pumps are really good. There's a kind that sits in, there's a sump pump which sits in the actual liquid that is being moved. And then there's a transfer pump which has a hose out one side and a hose out the other side, and it transfers from one place to another. I went with a transfer pump because you can use that basically as a sump pump. You just put the filter head in wherever you're going to sump it. And thank you, Jacob. So for me, that's what I chose. I figured I would choose something that was multi-purpose. I did choose the battery one because I plan on having, and it is going to happen, have solar. So I should be able to use batteries, and I should be able to use electricity more than maybe other people might if the power were to go down, because I have, a battery bank and all that. So that's one category, is how to get water out of a place you don't want it, or how to get water into a place that you do want it. So that's one thing I think is important, at least here and probably other places. The other is for your animals. And I think this is really important, and I haven't done it for this place yet, but homework, Steve. Oh no. Thank you. And that is to figure out how to automate really as much as you can. The automation of water will save you time. It will save you time. Still check in on it, make sure it works. But a float valve is a very valuable thing. So my recommendation is get a float valve. I do have a video. I think most people on here have already seen it. Let's see, water. And so this video has, it's a long video, but if you don't know much about construction or constructing, you can use this and absolutely get it, done. Water with float valve. And if you do know how to construct things, you can skip through it. Won't hurt my feelings. Go to the different steps. But it is meant for beginners. So that is something that's really, really good to know, is that you can set up water for your animals in times it doesn't freeze with a float valve. And if you leave your tap on, if you leave your faucet on with a float valve, you will not run out of water unless your tap runs out of water. And of course, you want to check that, make sure it's not leaking, make sure everything's working, make sure it's actually coming out, make sure it's not getting blocked by something, yada, yada, yada. So those are the 2 things I wanted to talk about with water. All right. Dawn says we use float valves in hydroponics if you want your things to autofill for you. Exactly. Does anybody else use float valves? And maybe you use them differently than I do. There's float valves that are used for wicking beds. That's something that is used. I haven't made wicking beds before, but I did inspire someone to make one. One of my friends like, I made this because I talked with you. I'm like, okay. I guess I'll take credit. Yeah, but float valves they can be very helpful. And then always have spare parts. So always have spare, if you have something with float valve, have a couple extra because you never know what's going to happen. And if you have something convenient and then all of a sudden you don't have that convenience, you're going to suffer. Something else to make sure you have is Teflon tape. Teflon tape is that white tape that you put onto faucets and connections and all that. I actually had to use that on this transfer pump because the outlet, so it has inlet and an outlet. And the outlet, they both have like hose, like you can put a hose on it. So the outlet, you try and put the hose on and the thread was cut. Like it would go and then all of a sudden it would go crooked. And so what I did is I Teflon taped it to hold it, and to make it more connected. And it leaks a little bit, but it works. So yeah. Amy says looking at low flow irrigation this year after the second driest summer in state history last year. Yeah. Automatic water. There's your number 3. Automatic water. Put a timer on that thing, and it's awesome. It's awesome. And Jennifer says I use a float valve in my incubator. In your incubator or your brooder? How do you use it in your incubator? That's a tiny float valve, probably. Interesting. What incubator do you have? I'm curious. But yeah, float valves are awesome. Actually, I think Brincia does have that, but it's like in their unit, I think. I don't remember. But yeah, you can use float valves for all sorts of stuff. All right, I want to know what you guys' favorite tool is for general purpose stuff. Something you find yourself every time you're at the store and you see it, you get it. For me, it's things like scissors, because I always end up setting them somewhere. Like good, like strong scissors. And then, razor knives are always good to have multiples of. You can have them, in drawers in different places. And spare drill bits is really good because the little ones can break. And I had that happen recently. There is a drill bit that is currently being used as a screw in the rabbit tractor. Because, yeah, no way I was going to get that out. Steve says vice grips. That is a good idea. That is a good idea. Yeah, vice grips will hold extra tight to things, which will help. A vise is also a good idea. I don't have a vise. Channel wrench, Verna says. Yeah. Yep. Dawn says, I didn't go to stores for over 5 years, but when I did, that it was scissors. I stocked up every time school supplies came out. Yep. Amy says zip ties. That's good. Ratchet straps, bungee cords, and tarps. Yep. Tarps. I mean, it's a tool. It's a tool. It's a windbreak for my bunnies. Yeah, zip ties. You use zip ties. I mean, if you have zip ties, you use them. If you don't have zip ties, then you use, rope and wire and stuff, and it's not always the most efficient. Yeah. Dawn says I order most my stuff online because I couldn't get out. So I still do. I just got 12-inch cable ties. Yep, cable ties will work. Having the right tool for the job is something that is a good thing, and something that I thought would be fine that overexerted my hand was a hand stapler. And having a electric or pneumatic tacker that we used in the past, that was really, really helpful, and it was strong. I got an electric tacker, a Ryobi, because everything's Ryobi now, just because that's what I started with. Not as powerful as it should be. So I had to staple, and then hammer. And for the level of things that I'm making, I think that's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. I will survive. And if you're making something big, though, having the bigger tool for the job is better, because then you don't have to go back and hammer in all the staples all the way. Yeah. Verna says always 2 sets of screwdrivers, one magnetized, one standard, both sets including slot and Phillips. Yep. And needle nose pliers. Yep. Cool tip, have 2 drills, one for drilling your pilot holes and the other for drilling your screws. If you have that, it will save you like 3 times the amount of time, because changing out every single time the drill bit for the screwdriver head, it takes forever. Like, it doesn't take forever to do it once or twice, but if you have a lot of stuff to do, it ends up taking forever. So having 2 drills is a really good idea. Okay, Steve says, yeah, electrostapler not as powerful as it should be. Absolutely not. I mean, especially when they have the picture of like, hey, this goes in a little and this goes in a lot. And you like put it up to all the lot, and it's like, okay, but I'm stapling something to something else. It should, yeah. Amy says, I thank the community here. I'm eating my rabbit quail spicy sausage with bacon added as a fat because y'all made it sound like I could do it. Amy, you didn't bring enough for everyone? How is it? I want to hear all about it. That sounds awesome. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, we can do anything. That's the thing. If you put your mind to it, you can do it. And congratulations on that, because that's a big accomplishment. Yeah, big accomplishment. And hopefully you've made enough to put some in the freezer and like surprise yourself later that it's there. I have elk sausage in the freezer. I should probably take it out. It's from the neighbors when they moved. I should probably take it out to thaw it so I can have it for breakfast. I think it has a few breakfast amounts in it. Yeah. Don says, I am thinking of using cypress mulch in the quail manure trays and then use it on the garden paths. It's much cheaper than pine shavings. I don't know much about cypress mulch. It's not a cedar, is it? I wonder why they're mulching cypress trees. Where does it come from? Florida? That's interesting. All right, Verna says, sounds good. Amy says, I got the Ryobi stapler with the USB charger for the power pack, and it is not all that it could be. A USB charger, huh? That's probably one step below mine. Mine's the 18 volt. Well, it probably might be the same as 18 volts. I don't know. Yeah. Verna says your only limits are the limits you put on yourself. Absolutely. I mean, there's some limits other people can have control over, but you can definitely learn to do things and then do them. And it's awesome that we can do that. And we are here to support all of that. And I hope everybody understands that and participates in the support. Yeah. Yeah. Dawn says we have cypress here. They are a water tree. They will not be acidic like pine is. It composts to neutral. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let us know how it works out. My next stapler will be pneumatic, Steve says. Yeah, the thing for that is that you need a compressor, and I don't have a compressor. I mean, that doesn't mean I couldn't get one, but I don't have one. Amy says power pack is a cylinder about the size of 2 old style cans of film. Like that. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, it's for me, I'm going with the cordless stuff now. I was always a corded person, corded tool person. And that's because I could reach a extension cord to every part of my property. Get a 100-foot extension cord, it could go anywhere. Now that's not the case. So it is more important as I go on to think about the things that I might need to have cordless of, and or maybe think about what I need to cut here versus out wherever I'm working on something. So that's something I am building, is my Ryobi army. Yeah. All right. So some other tools that I think are useful it's not really a tool, but I think it is carabiners. You can never go wrong if you have a bunch of carabiners. Whenever I go to, not whenever, but often when I go to Harbor Freight, I pick up carabiners because they're cheap there. I know they're going to go, like, they're going to go wherever I need them to. I use them for closing hutches. I use them for closing the rabbit tractors. I use them for my keys. They're used for so many different things. There's one closing the chicken door, that slide bolt. Yeah. Yeah. Verna says, now you only need a small solar generator to power our tools away from standard electricity. Yeah. Carabiners are very useful. Absolutely. Absolutely. Steve says the problem with battery power is finding the brand that has all the tools that use the same battery. Yeah. So with Ryobi, there's pretty much two batteries. So there's the 18 volt and then the bigger one is 40, I think, 40 volt. And I'm making my decisions based on those batteries, and most of them have one or the other. So yeah. I know you can get a portable air compressor. I know. 24 volt. What is that? Yeah. Yeah, and when getting the battery stuff, it pretty much is like pick a color. I picked green because the thing I was going to do first, that's the one I picked. And then you just stick with whatever the brand is, so all the batteries work. It's unfortunate they don't all use the same battery. Verna says 18 volt or 24 volt. No, I think it's 40 volt, isn't it? Let's see. Ryobi chainsaw. I think it's 40 volt. Yeah, 40 volt. Yeah, 18 and 40 is what I have. So that's what I'm making my decisions on. All right. Is anybody stumped on a project coming up that they need to know how to do something, or they need to know what tool to use, or maybe they have a project coming up that you're like, I can't afford all of the tools. Tell me which ones I should actually get. And we can discuss it. Yeah. So he says we have the blue, red, green, and yellow. Is there more than that? Is that it? I know which ones those are. That might be it, huh? As far as the popular ones. Yeah. That is a goal of mine. What is the goal of yours, Amy? Tell us more. Tiling walls in the kitchen. Okay. Here is the key to tiling, and I've only done it once, and I will do it again, but very limited experience. Number one, get all of your spacers from the same place as the same brand. Because if they are the same size in a different brand, they are not going to be the same size. There's your tip. There is your tip. And you're going to need, someone tell me the name of this thing. The thing that goes in your drill that spins. That mixes the, so they do make pre-made, what's it called? Like Portland cement. They make the pre-made kind that you can get out of a tub, and then they also make the kind of the powder that you can mix with water. If you have that, then you need the mixer thing that goes in the drill, and you need to make sure that the mixer thing, somebody tell me what it is, paint stir, maybe, not grout. Not grout. This is the thing that you put on the wall. So you put Portland cement on the wall, then you put your tiles with the spacers, and then you do the grout. So wait until the tiles are dry on there, and then do the grout at the end. But make sure the paint stir, we're going to call it that, the mixer, whatever the end of that is, has to fit in your drill. So not all drills are made the same, and some of them are too big. So you have to actually do that. Yeah. Oh yeah. She said gout? No. No. Steve is saying adhesive or thin set, don't go cheap. Right. So thin set is the stuff that you put down. Portland cement is what I've always had recommend to me for that. And that's something that you do mix yourself. But now there are more different things. Yeah. And then if you are needing to waterproof that area, there is a moisture barrier you can get. I know from Home Depot, it is a orange thing that you put up. I don't know if anybody else, I don't know what it is at other places. But you put the Portland cement up, then you put a layer of that, and then you put your Portland cement after that's dried up for your tiles, and you do that as you go. You don't do a wall of it first and then put the tiles on. You're going to do that as you go. And then once you are once you're done doing the tile and it's set and all that, you can take the spacers out. And then when you do your grout, I highly recommend mixing more than you think you need and making sure you get it all at once, because that was one of the mistakes I made. Is I mixed all I thought I needed, and then I needed more, and it was a different color when I came back and did it over again. Slightly different color, but different color. It is a little darker or lighter, I don't remember. Yeah, and then the other thing to make sure you have is a large sponge, so you can sponge off stuff off the tiles pretty easily. Like a car washing sponge or whatever works fine. And anybody who has done tile more than I have, I've only done it once, feel free to chime in. All right. Verna's laughing at Amy. I know my fingers are not always working. Although you do have gout. Oh no. Amy's giving advice. Activated charcoal capsules. 3 caps. 3 times daily for 3 days will get rid of gout. Okay. Oh, absorbs the uric acid. There we go. Dawn says, I'm glad I didn't have to mess with this stuff anymore. I did it all that 25 years ago, building this place and fixing the houses before this one. Y'all make me glad I'm old. Oh. Dawn says, flashback of the paint stir to a 5-gallon bucket of paint all over my face once. Oh my gosh. Too many funny memories. Yeah, so they do make different kinds of stirrers, and there is a kind for the tile stuff that's different than the paint stuff. So ask someone in the store which one to use, but make sure it fits your drill, because if it doesn't, then you either need an adapter, which isn't going to work well, or yeah, there you go. Dawn says flashback of says, did tile hate grout? Too old to think about it now. I did recently, because I am going to get tiled for the bathroom. I did recently talk with someone that said the grout, the pre-mixed grout, they have some better options now, that you don't have to seal. So it has a sealant in it. So if you have grout, or if you are putting in something with grout, the grout has to be sealed, and it's supposed to be sealed every 6 months. And it's really easy to do. They sell a thing at the hardware store it's like a kind of a squeeze bottle with a brush on the end, and you just go like that, and then wipe off the excess, and it has to be clean and all that. But yeah. Anyway. Yep. Um, Steve says, yeah, I dropped my adapter in a bucket of roofing sealant that I was trying to stir. Steve, that does not sound like fun. Not at all. Oh my goodness. Yeah, not good. Don't do that. Learn from Steve's mistake. Yeah. All right, so that's one thing. Did we solve your problem? Here's a tip. If it's in the kitchen and there is wallpaper, you guys will see me do this, but it's not high on the priority list, so it's going to be a long time down the road. To remove wallpaper. So back in the day, wallpaper was super popular, and everybody had it, especially in the kitchen, in the bathroom, and other weird places. And the way to remove that is to get liquid starch that will be found, if it's found, will be found in the laundry department of your grocery store. And you put a spray bottle and you spray it on the wallpaper, and that will soak through and rehydrate the glue, because it's made out of basically the same thing. And then it can scrape off easier. I won't call it easy, but easier, because it rehydrates the glue. So that is a little tip for those with wallpaper. Having spray bottles, that's another good thing to have extra of, because you never know when you're going to need them, you know? All right. Popping for adapters. Yeah. Amy says she's removed a lot of wallpaper. There you go. Okay, a good hand steamer. That would work too. What would you use that for besides clothing and wallpaper? Because I don't have need of it, as far as I know. Amy says fabric softener and a steamer with a paper tiger perforator. I do not know what a paper tiger perforator is. Let me look up what that is. Paper tiger perforator. Okay. It's something made for wallpaper scoring. Okay. That makes sense. Dawn says, time we get off tonight? Good quitting time before you give me wallpaper nightmares. Good night, Dawn. Thanks for coming. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Okay. Hand sievers, getting wrinkles out of curtains, killing fleas in carpet. Okay. Those are vastly different things, Steve. Is there something in between? Okay, like a cheese grater for a wall. That I might have to get one of those then. But I do know liquid starch does work, and it works because it rehydrates what's already there. So, yeah. Uh-oh, computer issues. Hopefully it gets better. All right, so we've solved Amy's issue. Is that your issue? Who else has a project coming up that we need to make sure we have the right tools, or might want to, I don't know, anybody want to brag about a tool? I just had this idea because, one, the pumps, that's a tool that we definitely need here, but then also putting together the rabbit, welcome back, putting together the rabbit tractors. I kept on getting up to get another tool. I'm like, oh, I'm glad I have this tool. Oh, I need this tool. Let me go get it, and going, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And things like pliers and something to pry with, which ends up being a screwdriver. Usually that's what it ends up being. Extra drill bits. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Also, an assorted drill bit. So not just the drill bits, but the screwdriver heads. So having an assortment of those is super helpful. An Allen wrench set as well. So I don't have one that goes in the screwdriver, but I have a hand one. Okay, wet vac. Yep. Get the bigger one always. I have the big one that's a dry wet. And so you just take out the filter when you're using it for wet. Yeah, Allen wrenches. Yeah. So the freeze dryer has almost all Allen wrenches, except for some of them are Phillips. I don't know why some of them are Phillips and most of them are Allen wrenches. It's like, hey, let's do all Allen wrench, except for then you have to go get the screwdriver. Anyway, whatever. It's a screw. It's okay. Extension cords, Amy, yes. And not only extension cords, outdoor extension cords or extension cords with large capacity is also a good idea. And extension cord splitters, right? So you can split things. Or what are they called? There's one right here. These things. Oh my gosh, why are my words escaping me? Power strip. The power strip that can go on the extension cord also. Okay. Rita says, small one isn't worth a pot to pee in, nor the bucket to throw it out with. Yeah. Yeah. When I was moving out, I had stuff packed away and all over here, and then I went to cleaning, and I asked a neighbor for a shop vac, and I'm like, a shop vac to me has always been like a shop vac. They had a shop vac. Yeah. Yes, surge protector. There's the word I was looking for, Amy. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Verna says I have a power strip that is one side is timed, the other side is standard. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Really. Another thing to think about is light sources. So whether that be a headlamp, flashlights, watch lights, a light that you can stick onto metal or whatever. So that is another thing to think about. And yes, light timers, Amy. And if you have birds, especially that you are using light timers on, get an extra timer, because if the timer goes bad, then you just have to wait until you get a new timer before your light works. And that is something to do. Rechargeable light bulbs. That's a thing. Wait, are you talking about like the ones that you can go stick somewhere and it has a battery? I have not invested in those, and that is a great idea to do that. For sure. Gibbs? How long do those last? Have you used them? Like for if you have a rechargeable light bulb. So like, can you put a timer on a rechargeable light bulb? Or no? Verna says that's what's good about power strip, that one side is timed. Yeah, I've never had a whole power strip be a timer. That's interesting. Oh, Govies. I'm like, what does Gibbs mean? Yeah, so Govies, so that's a particular brand of a digital thermometer, and they actually talk with your phone so that you have an app on there and they can say, hey, this is what it is. Yeah. Oh, you can have those lights on a timer. That's something I might want to learn more about. See, learning things. Because when I have the quail up in my non-existent, it's going to be up that way. Right there somewhere will be the high tunnel. That will be something I want to do for quail, is to have a light timer. I was going to do rope light, but maybe I'll have to figure out how to do that. But I did not know you could do that. Solar rechargeable light bulb lasts about 8 hours. Excuse me. Okay. You can always have one of those light bulbs on a timer. Oh, I just already read that. But be careful, the utility company sees your whole house lit up with those bulbs. They think you have electric when you don't. Ask how I know. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, I don't know. When I have my solar set up and I don't have to be concerned about power outages, that'd be nice. We had a power outage today. It was only like 30 seconds or a minute, but it was an outage. And I don't know why. Don't know what happened. Don't know what surged or what didn't. But I know around the area there's, the ground is a little moist. There was some landslides and all of that. So, yeah. Okay. So Amy says you can't put a timer on the light bulbs, but they charge on a lamp when the power is on. And when the power goes out, you can unscrew them, and there is a hanger. You screw them into a hook. Okay. So you can put them where you want them. What happened, Steve? Verna wants to know. I think probably power companies like, hey, you have power. You don't need to be hooked up with power again because the whole neighborhood's out. You have power. Is that what happened, Steve? The area got wiped out and they saw your house had power? All over Amazon. Yeah. So for the high tunnel, I want to put light for quail up there, and that will either be in the form of extension cord. Honestly, I don't need to electrify the whole thing. It's going to be an extension cord, or an individual solar something there, just for the light and timer. So I'll look at that at that point. But if anybody sees that, let me know. Okay, Steve says they were looking for the pole that was the issue. They got to our house, turned around and went back to the main road. The power pole that was the issue was further down our street from our house. Oh, so you delayed them. You delayed them from fixing the problem. They didn't want to do their job. Yeah. Yeah. Well, who knows? Was it a sub or was it them? Because here we have a lot of subs doing the job of the power company. And they're not very communicative at all. Not with my recent experience, at least. Yeah. So, yeah, light is a good thing. Another thing, it's not really a tool, but kind of is hand warmers. If you have incubators going, you might have your backup, you might have your battery bank or your generator, but you don't really need all that. If all you need to do is your incubator, you just need to crack open some, not crack open, please don't open them, but crack some hand warmers, shake them up, and put them in your incubator, and it will keep it warm. Just don't put it on the eggs or you might cook them. Yeah. Verna says they have all the power and want all your money. Yep. Steve says those lights detect the neutral. Funny thing is you can you can use one, your finger being the ground. Okay. So that's like the secret to the magic trick. Okay. So yeah, Verna's saying a case of 18-hour hand warmers can save your hatch. Exactly. And I've used those. A way to make a fire. If you have a gas stove, you can light your gas stove without the, when it goes click, 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 click light. If you get to the click, click, click part, that part's not going to work if your power is out. So if you get it to that point, you do a match, it will light it, and you can use it like normal. I can't do that anymore because I don't have a gas stove. I have electric now. But once my house is plugged into the EcoFlow, that will be, it'll work. So it should work all the time, hopefully. Yeah. Stu says, when they returned and came back down the street again, and we quickly turned off the lights, and they proceeded down the street and found the issue. Steve, I think I remember you telling that story. I think I do. Was that in the last few years? Amy says, I tried a seed starting heat mat under my incubator when it wouldn't hold temp, just to use a corner. Otherwise, it will be way too hot. Yeah, Amy, I tried to use that for I was trying everything for Meatball's babies when Meatball died. She's a rabbit. And I tried to put that like kind of under, and it just got way too hot. They were all like on top. I try to get away. Yeah. Electric stoves are a bane. Well, mine's working so far. So it's definitely an adjustment to both cooking and baking. So, like when I made the cheesecake, you leave it in the oven for an hour. Well, when you turn off the heat in a gas oven, it turns off. When you turn off the heat in an electric oven, it sends a signal to turn off. And it will choose to turn off whenever it feels like it. You basically it cools down slowly instead of just being off. Yeah. Lucy's prancing. All right, Brenna, we'll see you soon. Okay, it happens past summer. Okay, I thought I remembered that story, and that's why I was like, I think this is what happened. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess I'll talk a little bit about the forester that came. I'm going to do a video on this. I haven't actually recorded it yet. Forester came and looked at the area where I want to do food forest. And we kind of came to the conclusion that it's going to count as a clear cut, which sounds like a horrible word. But I think he said block cut is the word. I have to confirm that with him. But it's going to be most of the Douglas fir going out of there. There are some really nice chinkapins and madrones in there, and then keeping some Douglas fir on the edges. I do want to have a mycologist out, a mushroom person, to see like how far out the mycorrhizae might be going from those trees and what they might recommend given what's out there. And so that's really interesting. He did give me an idea. He gave me an idea of clumping, keeping clumps of trees versus individuals, and basically how the forest grows there. And anything that's large that isn't a Douglas fir likely was there when the Douglas firs were babies. And so they would do good on their own. So there's a lot of things to think about up there. I really wanted this to be done by now, but it's not. But I do want to have a mycologist out, hopefully, before things start going away. If I don't, then that's honestly it'll be fine. But yeah, that's something I want to do. So yeah, there's your brief update on that. Yeah. Yeah, Steve, the electric coil has to cool down. So it's the same idea, like, okay, it's related, but it doesn't sound like it is. When you want to open your washing machine and it's been running, and you're like, oh no, I forgot to put in, the sock. If it's been running, then it has to actually change the temperature of this metal piece to, I don't remember if it's shorten it. I think it's to shorten it. I think it has to cool enough to shorten. I don't know. I replaced the part on my old one, and I think it has to cool enough to shorten, and then it will open. Then you can open. So that's why it doesn't open immediately. It's not waiting. Well, it could be waiting for water, but that's not what it's waiting for. Only it's waiting for that little piece of metal to cool. So fun fact. I don't know if it's fun, but it's a fact. I think. Yeah. Well, we're getting our last bit of daylight. Look at that. Nice blue. Yeah. So that's what's going on here. For those that might have missed the beginning, we did have lots of flooding. We did have bridges that were overtaken. Interstate 5 had water going across all 4 lanes north of here. I don't know about south, but I know for a fact north of here because multiple people saw it and put it on Facebook. And then there are a lot of landslides in the area, and the city's putting together something for FEMA to get support from them. So really big deal here. And really it was within 2 days. I mean, we had snow, like we had 2 inches of snow and some rain on Friday. And that rain that happened Friday day, it really picked up at Friday night, but it was like the whole time. And we got 3.56 inches of rain for the 24-hour on Sunday morning. Picked up Saturday, then all day Sunday, all day. It picked up Friday, rained all day Saturday. Sunday morning it was 3.59. Rained all day yesterday. At a lesser extent, like it rained super, super hard all night the night before. And then this morning it was 2.02 inches. And so that's a lot of rain. It's over 5.5 inches of rain in 2 days. So yeah. Amy's going to bed. Good night, all. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming, Amy. And congratulations on your sausage. Stu says you should tell FEMA the water knocked your house off its foundation and you had to have someone come in and fix it. Yeah, it knocked it off before they fixed it after. To have it re-leveled. Yeah. No. There's definitely damage. I do have to call the lady from the city back because I was thinking, my house is fine. There's probably water under it, but it's not more than it was last time. I don't think there are issues from it. But the road on the power line road, which I don't really know how that works. The power line has an easement. It's 100 feet wide. But it is access for their easement, but it's not within the 100 feet. I don't need it to be a functional road. It's not that far from my southern gate. It's not, I am perfectly fine with not being able to drive to the southern gate. But so in my mind, it's up to them to put in a culvert. Culvert should have been there to begin with. But I don't know how they're going to see it, but I do have a number with them. a ticket number with them, and they are supposed to call me back about that and about something else. But I think maybe I should actually tell the city about that so they can include that in flood damage, because it did get damaged before by the last storm event, the last big storm event, but this one, there's so much water that went, and so much. So I'll have to tell them about that. And I don't know if they're doing buildings only. I don't know what FEMA covers. They should cover roads, but I don't know if they cover like private roads or what that counts as, if it's a public utility. But yeah, fun fact, the paperwork for that easement was from 1930, and the previous electric company paid the owners $1 for the easement. None of the other easements have any financial anything, as far as I can see, and there's lots of them. But they paid them $1 for that easement. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah, to have it re-leveled. Yeah, hopefully I don't need to. Steve, that would be horrible. Yeah, Steve, they have the easement. They should have to maintain it. That is true, but the easement is where the wires are, not where the road is. But it is access for their easement. So it's not written I don't have anything written that with the easement paperwork that says whose responsibility the access is. But I'm going to say it's theirs because I'm not fixing it on my dime. So what I'm saying is that might already be covered, but it also might help get funding for the the region for FEMA, because it's definitely an impact, and definitely something that needs to be dealt with at some time. Yeah. I know, Steve. They should have negotiated for free electric. Shame on them for selling for the $1. I think honestly, it's a main power line, so it kind of has to go through the property, based on where they have it. So honestly, I think it may have been eminent domain. I don't know how I would even look that up, or if they said no, it probably would be. And I don't know. $1 may have been the appropriate price for that easement if it was eminent domain, at that time. I mean, the 30s. I don't know how much land cost in the 30s, but I don't know how many acres that takes up. 100 feet wide by, I don't know, half mile or something. I don't know. Yeah, it might have been fair pricing at that time. But yeah, I know. It's like I have let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's at least 5 electric easements on my property, at least. And I don't get free electricity or anything. Or even a payback, right? They should do something about that. Oh, goodness. Goodness. Speaking of electricity, I do think having some sort of backup would be a good thing. I do have the EcoFlow. It's all charged up. I have lots of battery for that. But you can get a small battery backup. You can get a generator. And these are good tools to have in power outages. And I know there's a lot of people affected by weather. Has anybody heard from the Gudroses? I haven't been on Facebook today or any of that. I know they had some storms. Hoping that they're okay. I don't know who else was in those storm areas, but I know they had some storms come through, and I think they had some roof damage on some. Did I see that roof damage on some of the animal shelters? Anyway, I hope they're okay, and anybody else who's going through storms are okay. Like I said, the community here had a tough time. I didn't have that tough a time. The previous large storm that went through was tougher than this one for me, because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know that it was coming out of the side of the hill. As soon as I did the trenches, it helped tremendously. So, yeah. Oh, shovel. Huh. We did not list that among the most important tools. It is probably one of the most important tools. A shovel and an axe or a plasky. Yeah. Steve says for the price of those battery power banks, I can get 5 generators. Yep. That's why I said or. But if you also have solar and you have enough sun, then you won't run out. Whereas generators take gas or propane. Yeah. I think there are some solar. Are there some solar generators too? I know there's solar power banks, but I don't know about solar generators. Anyway. Yeah, so those are some things. Hopefully you guys learned something or shared something. Yeah. Okay, there are solar generators. I figured there probably was. I don't know what the difference is between a solar generator and a solar battery kind of thing, because I figured that was mostly kind of where they store the solar. But yeah. Well, it is my chicken's birthday today, so I figure I will show a little bit of what I'm working on for the video for tomorrow, if you guys are good with that, and if this will share. Will it not share? It's open. Window. Where is it? Okay, give me a minute. Where is this at? Looks like that. Here it is. Wait, there it is. Sure. Okay. This is my editing stuff. There you go. All right. So that. I hope you guys enjoy that. I don't want to show you too much because it's going to be the video for tomorrow. And um, pretty much I talk about them and their history and all of that and their personalities. So if you want to get to know the chickens or get to know them again, because they haven't made very many videos, then go ahead and watch that tomorrow. And man, you guys, I had a panic. So there's two recordings. There's one where I was like, hey, here's the thing I'm giving them before I went in there. And then the other one is, sitting in there with them. And the sitting in there with them is the more important one. I deleted stuff off the card before it had transferred all the way. I was like, oh no. But luckily, because it was in the process of being transferred, it didn't get deleted. So we have the footage. Yeah. Steve is asking, so you threw a party for their birthday. Will they throw you one in return next month? Maybe they'll give me eggs. Maybe. I don't know if Rexy will be done molting or not by then, but we'll see if the other two give me eggs. Hopefully, that'll be my birthday gift. Hopefully, we'll get them before then. Yeah, they are super cute, Verna. They definitely have good personalities, and they definitely know their names and all of that, and they're really fun. So those guys will be kept as pets. They're my pets who poop breakfast. I will be at some point once things are ready, getting more chickens for chicken and for being chickens and for chicken. And yeah, when are you getting new chicks, Steve asks? I will get new chicks when I have the chicken run enclosed, which takes two things to happen. One, the fencing to be redone, and two, to figure out how to do the roof/netting. And I actually need to contact the county again and see if putting a roof over an existing chicken run counts as anything. Because if it does, I will make my decision different. I'm thinking probably putting a roof over is good. I believe, in a migratory pathway. I know the geese actually are here all winter, so we are in kind of a stopover area. So I do think I have a little bit higher risk where I am for AI, but hopefully not. But if you put a roof on things, then that will help. And I know I'm going to extend the roof over the rabbits. I just need to get answers. So I do it once and not, multiple times, redoing what I needed to do. Yeah. So there's your answer, Steve. Let me find my Katrina to-do list. You better cross some things off. You call it a repair, not a new roof or extending the roof. Use your words carefully. Yeah, so they're actually pretty calm about things. Basically, they just need to know where they are. And like I asked about the high tunnel, they said as long as it's not heated, then I think that's what they said, heated. Then they just need to know where it is. And I think it has to be so far away from property boundaries and stuff like that, which isn't an issue for anything that I have. And they just need to know where it is. And that's it. So unless it's heated, I don't think it increases taxes or anything. But yeah, there are issues. So I'm going to say that there's a chicken run that I have my rabbit hutches in that has roofs. I'm wanting to connect those roofs. Yeah, I'm gonna have to find different words. You're right. But yeah, I'm gonna make it about the rabbit hutches because the rabbit hutches are going to be connected with the roofs, and that makes sense to me, to keep that area under there as the deep litter area. If the rest of it isn't deep litter, have that be the deep litter area, and hopefully the chickens spend most of their time pooping under there. If not, I can toss stuff in there and they can turn it up. But I do want more chickens to do that job, and then because 3 isn't really enough to do that much, that many rabbits. But I will be getting more chickens when that's ready. And I'll be getting quail stuff when the high tunnel is ready. So there's my two new animal stuff plans. And then goats, I mean, that's gonna maybe, I thought it was gonna be this year, but it might not be this year. We'll see. Yeah, the hen house is quite large. They've just been living indoors for this whole time, and honestly, it's bigger than the space they had. It might be about the same space, but it's either the same or bigger than what they had in California. And yeah, it doesn't have the outdoor component, which is sad, but they're doing fine. They get daylight through the windows and stuff. So yeah, the palace is quite large. Yeah. So yeah, it's their birthday. My neighbor and I drove over the Santa Cruz Mountains to Aptos to get them, and drove back over. And it was during COVID. It was during COVID, wasn't it? 4 years ago. So we were wearing masks with the windows down in her Suburban, and she was in the front driving, and I was in the way back, so we could socially distance. And there you go. There you go. They need access to sunlight for vitamin D. Yeah, so they do get light through the window. They do get light through the window, for sure. Cheesecake is a great snack. That is a true statement. Are you suggesting we give that to the chickens? Or are you having cheesecake right now? And why didn't you bring enough for everybody? Man, you and Amy not bringing enough for everybody. Yeah, so they're doing good. But they'll be in love with the huge area that they will have, because it's an amazing amount. Yeah. Okay. Joy has news. Put the buck back. Wait, put the buck back in. And she was like, no, thank you. All right. Did you bring your buck to your dome? Because it's supposed to be the other way around. She can get aggressive with that. Hopefully she didn't. But for rabbits, it's always bring the doe to the buck. But hopefully that means she's bred, and you will find out in a month. Mark it down on your calendar. I put in the nest box at 27 days. I used to do it 26. I just feel like 27 is better. But put 26 or 27 days down for your nest box, and then 30 or 31 days is when she will have babies from the original date of breeding. You can give them the chicks. I'm eating my own. Okay. Katrina knows we feel now. Enough to share. I could be eating brownies in front of you, Steve. I could be. This is just water. But it's my own well water. Okay, it's a dew cage. So you brought them both to a third party location. Okay. Good, Joy. Hopefully that means she's pregnant, and hopefully you will have little ones soon. And yeah. That's good. Good. Myrna says, I didn't eat mine at the computer. I ate it before I reached the computer. Okay. Oh, finally got her out of the floor pen. Okay. Put a sign on that cage, 1 hour motel. Oh my gosh. Steve. Yeah. So is that what did it, Joy? Is that they needed a third location and not to go to his place or her place? Is that what made the result better? Now I can put the quail back in. What? Wait. Joy, you took quail out of the pen and then put the rabbits in to do the deed, and then took them out and then put quail back in? Is that what happened? Am I understanding you right? Hey, if it works, it works. Oh. Mira says I use a small animal playpen. I know you did that for your guinea pigs, your cooey. Did you do that for the rabbits too, Myrna? Yeah. I mean, having another location is good if it works, it works. You finally got it to work. That's good. Oh, okay. You did use it. Okay. Joy is being resourceful. I love it. Oh, how awesome. All right. I am seeing something come up that I am fairly certain might be baby trees. I'm fairly certain they might be maple trees. And I should have looked this up to see if a maple was a dicot. I think it is. Some of them are also under the incense cedar tree. I also don't know if that's a dicot. But yeah. Okay, she wasn't aggressive. Steve. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so maybe there's going to be a bunch of maple seedlings. I am going to kind of follow that and see what happens. I did see some maple seeds or maple, like the wings have sprouts coming out of them, so that's pretty cool. I'm kind of curious how well they do, how many survive versus how many are like nope. Because yeah, selling maple seeds might be in my future. If there's a market for it, it would be good, huh? Oh, okay. So she was defensive maybe or aggressive the other day, and now she wasn't aggressive. Okay. Okay. Bring it on. Yeah, they can definitely act different when they're before they're bred and when they're bred for sure. I'm going to be breeding rigatoni tomorrow and then risotto after that. And it's been a while. I was waiting for I like to breed two does back to back, basically, either the same day or day after, just in case one doesn't have milk come in. It's good practice. And so I had to wait because things got off kilter with when ravioli didn't have and then anyway. Usually I have them next to each other so I can just deal with them, and then the other ones will have them later. But yeah, so I was waiting for Risotto's babies to be old enough for her to do that. And then we got this rain hit, and I did nothing except for emergency get the rabbit tractor out and working. So so yeah, they're on the list to get bred. I'm gonna, I think, do ravioli tomorrow night, and then see how that goes, and then go with not penne, with risotto, and there we go. Yeah. Verna says, yes, I had one like that, Joy. She was she was wanting to mate. All right. Beautiful doe. Got her for free. I may go to the breeder to get another. Awesome. Yeah, Verna, I would miss them too. She says, I miss my animals so much. Yeah, I miss the quail every now and then. I'm like, oh yeah, that sound, like, and oh yeah, they're calming. But I know I'm gonna have them again, and it will be good. And I think it's most important for me to do things as I should do them, not how I want to do them. So like I want all the animals now, right? But then if I get them now, I have to make temporary things for them. And it's not fair to the animals, and it's not really what I want. So yeah. It'll be her first litter. Okay. How old? Do we know? I think you said last time, but I don't remember. Good luck to her. And yeah, just make sure she has her nest box in the right time, and then make sure you check on her, when it's day 30, day 31. Check on her early in the morning, check on her late at night, to make sure the babies aren't out of the nest box. Yeah. Okay, 9 months, that's a good age. That's a good age. Verna says, build up the pens or housing before getting the new animals. Exactly. And that's true for everything except for goats. Goats I could do, but I'm just doing so much right now. I don't feel like I should have that energy spent elsewhere. I feel like I should get same thing. Like I want a dog too, but my house is in no condition to have a dog right now. Yeah. Yeah. So that makes sense. All right. Does anybody else have anything to say flood wise, rain wise, tool wise, homesteading wise, fun wise? Anything else? Because I think we are going to have some dinner now and edit a video. Steve says, but I love to have to panic to build mine the day I need them. That's the problem, is people, and it happened to me, it happened to everyone. You think you are going to get it done. Oh, I'll just get these eggs, or I'll just get these chicks. By the time they're done being in the brooder, it will be done. No. Is it ever? No. Be realistic, guys. Building things takes so much longer than you think. And especially if you don't have all the parts, or you don't have all the tools, or something measured wrong. That's what happened on my, you guys will see. on my rabbit tractor. I made it work, but it would have taken a lot less time if I would have measured correctly. Yeah. Learn my land before adding to it. Yeah, I think I know it pretty well now. I haven't gone through spring yet, but I think what I need to know about it, I pretty much know. I would like to know more of the mycology, but I think having gone through winter was helpful. And for the food forest stuff, I need to start that now. I need to start getting in and taking care of trees and stuff. I did find out the process to do that, and it's really just a notification. There's no fee or anything. They just need to know certain things about it. And then, if you're going to take it to the mill and make money off of it, to make sure you put on your taxes. And they need a road assessment so they know whatever log trucks are going up are going to be, like, there's creek crossings, then they have to be supported by, how good is the culvert, how good is the bridge, and that's something I do, they don't do. So it's a free permit as far as I've been told, and they just need to know what's going on, what you're going to use it for. And then there is a stream setback, which you don't even have to inform them of if you're 75 feet away from the stream, but you can't be more than 35, or you can't be closer than 35 feet from the stream, even if it's a seasonal stream, which makes sense. I'm a biologist. We do these things all the time, and I expected there to be something. I thought it might be like 100 feet, but 35 feet. Yeah. Steve says, no matter what you build, it has to be improved. Yep. Go get your dinner. Find a horse logger. Yeah, that would be interesting. I don't know if anybody does that here. Maybe. I have one name that several people have given me, and I just have a first name. But I do want to have a couple people out, I think, to kind of get an idea, because it's not going to be, while it is going to be basically almost clear cutting, they have to call it that if you're not keeping, what is it? If you're not keeping 80% of the trees, I think. I might have that backwards. It might be that you're keeping 20%, 80%. It's 20 and 80. I don't remember which way it goes. But yeah, less harmful to the ecosystem. That's a good yeah, that's a good thing. I'm mostly concerned about keeping the trees I want to keep, and then the undergrowth will grow back. Like if you cut Oregon grape or these different things, they will recover. But I don't really want the ground all scraped up for the mycology stuff. So yeah. All right, I am going to go have some dinner and do some editing so you guys have a video tomorrow, and go to bed and go to sleep. And I will talk to you guys next Monday. Katrina's kits, we need to figure out a time in April. So maybe let me know on the Facebook group or here. But think about if there are any weekends that do not work in April. I know the Saturday right before Easter doesn't work, and I wouldn't do it that time anyway. I don't know what else doesn't work. So anyway, let me know if there are any weekends that don't work. There we go. All right. Yes. And Verna's live is on Saturday morning. I usually either miss it or and watch it later, or come for the very end, because that's my sleep-in day. Unless I'm going to town, because nobody's open on Sunday. So if I have to go to town on Saturday, or if I have to go to town on the weekend, I have to go on Saturday. But yeah, there you go. All right. Good night, everyone. Thanks for coming. Hopefully you guys had a good time, and we'll see you next week. No, we're not doing that, Steve. Easter Bunny. Good night, guys.